Mitch, how many is enough tomorrow, do you think?
700. um, it's obviously been an interesting wicket. Some bare patches, some grassy patches, I guess you call them, and yeah, it's not been easy to bat for the course of the 2 days, which I guess is reflected in the 10 runs difference between the first innings. So yeah, there's a little bit of a partnership there with Bo and Trav there at the end. So hopefully that can continue in the morning and push it as far as we can, some low order runs, and then go from there. So yeah, I think there's enough chances, as we've seen in the last 2 days, that you're never quite in, and you never know what total's going to be enough.
Do you see the pitch changing at all? Obviously different venue, different country in London, but it changed drastically from day 2 to day 3. Is there a risk of that sort of happening here, or do you think there'll be plenty of chances throughout?
Yeah, I think that the wicket at Lords was very flat when the sun came out. I certainly found it easy to bat on. This, I think, we've seen these 2 days. It's just there's so much variable there that, you know, we saw yesterday on day 1 a ball shoot low, and then the next over it jumped up and created a wicket. So yeah, I think that'll probably be the same tomorrow. I don't know, but that's my guess. And some good bowling there that created enough chances. So yeah, I think that'll continue tomorrow.
We saw Sammy there sort of, you know, he's done it before obviously, but tried to sort of take a bit of a different approach to Shamar. Was that a bit of a chat amongst the batters or amongst the team about trying to put him off his length at all?
Not a chat against the bowlers, so yeah, you can ask him that one.
Well, Bob, Mitch, another throw for how do you feel like you came out today?
Yeah, okay. We obviously pushed pretty hard first session yesterday with the ball to try and create as many chances as we can early doors. Probably let a few go with some aggressive fields there, which created some boundaries. But we know that this ball doesn't swing much after the 10 over mark. It obviously moved a fair bit sideways throughout, particularly with the ball being changed a fair few times for both teams. So yeah, I think overall, yeah, they might have got a couple away, but I think to take 10 wickets and keep them close to the first innings total is pretty good.
And just in regard to the batters, like, is there a feeling that there's a bit of a regeneration and new guys coming in? Do you think that, you know, the Aussie public should give them a bit of time to find their feet?
I don't know how the public feel about it. Obviously, it's a different team without Steve and Marnus in it for the first time in a while. Steve, I think, is the only batter in that group that's played in these conditions before. So I think he's back in the next couple of days. So that'll be good around the group. For guys, they're finding ways in different conditions. So it's been a challenge for these first 2 days, and they've been working as hard as ever. So hasn't quite worked so far for a few of them, but it's the beauty of Test cricket. It's a challenge, and you've got a good bowling attack to face on testing conditions. They're going to have to learn pretty quickly for the next 2 tests as well.
Mitch, we've seen a string of DRS decisions in this game with sort of bat pad, and hard to discern whether it's been bat first or pad first. Probably gone each way. But do you feel there's a consistency in the way that they're generally adjudicated, and do players understand sort of what goes on behind the scenes in that respect?
There's been some interesting ones. Obviously, a couple more have gone against the West Indies than us. So one for us obviously looked like there was a gap between the bat and the ball. Cost us 40 odd runs, but then a contentious one to then get the wicket. So as players, you can only ask the question. We don't use the technology to make that decision. We can ask a question. It sort of felt like, or looked like, that the snicko and the images were out of sync to some capacity. So you might have to ask the umpires about how that's all perceived from their end. But for us, we just ask a question.
And just on a related note, the Carey catch, that low catch that was given your way, I suppose a little bit similar to the one with you at Lords a couple of years ago. Do you sort of understand the consistency on that front, or did you think it was a catch, and do you think it differed to the one that you had a couple of years ago?
Yeah, mine, I put the ball on the ground. Kez's, again, that's the umpire's discretion. He obviously took it above the ground, and then whether it was deemed to have been in the glove when the frames were there. I think the one against Trav in the first innings was, I thought, we all thought that was out anyway, which obviously didn't go the way of the Windies. So yeah, that's, again, it's a grey area, I guess. So it comes down to the perception of the officials.
Just go one quickly. Mitch, there's been a few ball changes in this game. Is it the abrasiveness of the surface? Is it just wearing them out quite quickly, or are they a bit soft or out of shape?
They're not. There's not chunks out of them. They're obviously going out of shape. So yeah, I don't know if it's the ball. I don't know if it's the wicket. I think maybe the wicket might have got a little bit firmer from yesterday today, but we've seen obviously a fair few changes. So yeah, it might be the ball.
Mitch, Sham Samaru for On Drive, New York. And when you look at the fact that, 14 and 10 wickets fell on 2 days, but we've had the odd batsmen who applied themselves and got runs, Travis, for example, Hope, Chase. Would you say it's a question that the wicket was that bad, or just a failure to apply themselves on behalf of batsmen on both sides?
It's obviously an interesting wicket with the bare patches there and some grassy patches, I guess we'll call them. Listening to, I guess, some of the batters talk, it feels like they feel like it's a wicket you're never quite in on. So, yeah, it's obviously been tough for batting across the 2 days. I think there's been some good bowling, some pretty patient bowling, but we've seen a couple of partnerships there with obviously, what did we have? We had AUSSIE and Trav in the first innings, and then obviously today you had Chase and Hope there put a partnership together. So there's some partnerships to be had. It's just been tough for 2 days, and it's funny when there's a couple of days of wickets, people just say it's bad batting and not bowling. So maybe just say some good bowling.